Hi, everybody. Welcome to Discover College Soccer. Today, I'm lucky enough to be joined by Coach Ian over at Millikin. Welcome, Coach.
Thank you for having me, Matt. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for being here. I had the pleasure of talking to the men's coach at Millikin a while back, but good to have the women's side of things on. And as you and I discovered a few minutes ago, we were, although different decades, went to rival high schools in the
Right.
Columbus area. So good stuff. But we can put that aside because we're both Bobcats.
Absolutely.
As we're both fans of good and alum of Ohio University, so we got that going, which is good. So we'll stick to the Bobcat track and won't get into the purple versus red rivalry that we got there. But anyway, um, we're talking here it's mid-November. You just wrapped up the season. Um, how quickly is it jumping right into to recruiting for that class of 26? Kind of where are you at this point for bringing in the next class?
Jump straight into it. Kind of, you said, we've given the team, they get a few weeks off. So they have time to recover and just be students for a little bit. But my assistant and I, she just got back from St. Louis the other day. So we're heavy into the recruiting side with 26. We graduate 10 seniors. So we're looking to bring in another big class. So we currently have seven already committed. We're probably looking to bring another five more, something like that. So we're still getting after pretty heavily.
Okay, so you said she was out and about. Like, kind of what are the main tournaments, events, showcases, things? Where do you guys like to go when you're looking at players?
So we'll kind of hit any and all, honestly. Where we're located, we get a lot of players out of St. Louis and Chicago, um, because we're about 2 hours St. Louis, about two and a half from Chicago. So that's where a lot of ours come from. A lot of in Illinois or East Missouri. We have a handful. We have a few from Kansas. We've had some from Wisconsin and Michigan and Indiana, Iowa. We've had international before. We have some who've come from Florida. Like, we have a bit all over the place, but a good majority will come from probably about a 3 hour, 4 hour belt that we say. And so probably a lot of St. Louis, a lot of North Illinois, Chicagoland area.
Okay, so I know everybody always asks the alphabet soup question. Does it really matter what league I'm playing in? Are you guys do you find yourselves attending one set of events more than another? Are you kind of agnostic based on whether in Chicago, St. Louis, Kansas City, it's easy to get to, hey, we're going to be there kind of thing, or what's that look like for you guys?
It depends. No, I get it. Like, do we go to the ECNL, the GA stuff? And yeah, we do. But we've found plenty. And I hate even using diamonds in the rough. Like, we've just found good players that maybe don't fall under that category. Last year, we graduated an all-region center back she was honored the second team for her club, but she was so good, and so I was gobsmacked that she was there. But I was glad I saw her. She was a wonderful fit. She was a three-time captain, an all-region player. So it doesn't always have to be your ECNL, GA. Sometimes it's down to the amount of travel or finance. There's 100 reasons why someone doesn't play at those the alphabet the alphabet
Yeah.
soup as you call it. Uh, so if players reach out to us, we want to take the time to see them. Like, especially if we're able to get to them. Uh, Budgetarily, we sometimes we'll stick closer, but every now and again we'll go out to Florida and California and out west or south. And we want to make sure that if there's good players who would be a good fit for our program, we want to be there. We want to see them.
That's great. Well, what about ID camps? They're all the rage these days. Do you guys host them? Do you or your staff work other people's camps? Are they part of your process at all?
Yes to both. So we host one a year. So we'll have one in the summer, and it's been very good to us. We've pulled uh, probably the last 4 years we've had one, we've had commitments from it. We work ID camps within the area. So my wife works at the University of Illinois, so I've worked some of their ID camps. They've always been great to me. Some of the other Division One, Division Two schools, probably within a 2 hour belt, have invited us out, and it's just been lovely to go to. Like, some of those exact ID camps have been great, and I worked a few of those, and a few others have asked. Um, and if I'm able to go, I will go to it. Admittedly, I have three small kids who are in competitive dance, so I'm busy as well. But we try to get to as many camps as we can if we're invited and people want to see us. Like it's a big perk of the job is just being able to get to watch lots of soccer.
Yeah, that's great. Well, whether it's ID camp, tournament, whatever it is, what kind of makes up the hierarchy of things that you're looking for in a player both on and off the field?
A big thing is the culture piece for us. I mean, don't get me wrong, we want to have players who are academically very strong. Soccer IQ is very high, very technical, tactical, understand the game. But we look for that good culture piece as well. And you could be the best player on your team and your league, but if you're a terrible person, it's not going to be a good fit. You want to make sure that you're building that team camaraderie. So that's a big part of our recruiting process. We want to get to know the player because if they're coming to campus, we've already seen that they're a good player. We want to get to know them as a person. We want to get to know their families, where they're from, how do they mesh with our current group. That's a big piece for us because if you're a wonderful player, you score 1,000 goals, like I said earlier, you don't treat people well, you're not going to get players who want to play with you. You're not going to have a good 4 years or 2 years, wherever you're kind of looking to play. So that culture piece is very important for us. So we look to bring in, players who kind of fit all of those, the culture piece, the athletic, and the academic piece.
Okay. Well, in terms of the roster, I know you mentioned how many you're replacing this year. Is there a roster size that you find is ideal that you're trying to hit each year?
We try to stick between 20, 29, and about 32. So we don't do a reserve team or anything like that. We want to have competition in every position. So we want to have depth everywhere. We don't want any complacency. And the college season is short and physical. Sometimes there's little injuries. We want to have players ready to go in every position. So we will carry, yeah, probably 28 to 32 is probably the number, not specific, but in and around that range.
Okay. Well, and I don't want to hold you to hard numbers here, but when it comes to D3, everybody's like, oh, well, there's no athletic money, so it's too expensive and blah, 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 blah. But, as two former D3 athletes here, I think we can both agree that's not always the case. So, what, without getting into too much detail, but kind of give us an overall idea, what does it look like for one of your average recruits coming in? In terms of the mix of academic money, grants, et cetera, what's it going to cost if they decide to go to Millikin?
It it varies. I think we have scholarships all the way up to full tuition, room and board, all of that. Like you pay zero. We have full tuition scholarships. We have scholarships that can bring the cost down astronomically, and we stack money too. So a lot of times, if someone looks at a sticker price, which ours has changed, thankfully, but sometimes someone look at a sticker price, say, I can't afford that. It's like, well, not a lot of people can. That's why they have scholarships, and it brings everything down. The the biggest thing for recruits to understand and anyone is just apply to, if you're interested in the school, apply, go through the process, see what you qualify for. If your scholarships hit and you can get your costs down and there's a certain range you want to be in and that school can get there, fantastic. If they can't, now you know. But you don't know unless you apply. Go through the process if you're serious about that school. So that's a big thing. And when someone's serious about us, like I said, we talked on that academic point. When someone has good grades, it makes our life so much easier because they can get high academic scholarships. And the fact that things are stacked and we accept outside scholarship, that only helps more.
Yeah, for sure. Well, let's learn a little bit more about the school. I'm sure some folks out there not familiar with Millikin.
Mhm.
What is it that you found being there as the head coach that is awesome about the school? Maybe some great stuff we wouldn't even know by going through the website.
The thing that sold me was the people. Like I felt welcomed right away. I'm originally from the Midwest, so I was in Ohio for my whole life and I coached at a few schools there. And then I was in Georgia for about 10 months and my wife and I's family is was in Ohio. We have small children. We were ready to be close to family. And when I had the opportunity to interview at Millikin, everyone was just so well. It was a place that just welcomed me right away. And the facilities were better than what I had in Georgia, and I was excited to get started. It was a place where I was given freedom to run the program, um, which I really appreciated. And some things about it, it's a one of the strongest nursing schools in the region. It's a very high business and STEM school. it's a very good academic. There's performing arts is another big part of it. Also, there's something to do on campus. There's always entertainment. It's just it's not as big as your Power Five schools, but it's not small where you know every single person on campus. There's that nice balance, and that's what really attracted me to it.
Yeah, I can see that for sure. Well, one of the hard parts for student athletes coming in right out of high school is learning to balance the demands of being a college athlete as well as a college student, and that can always be difficult. So, what kind of support systems does your school have to help student athletes be successful both on and off the field?
We have tutors for just about every single class, which is good. And a lot of the tutors are student athletes, which really helps because they already understand the kind of the balance what it takes to perform academically and athletically. We want to make sure that the professors are there for the student. And the nice thing is you're not being taught by a TA. You are there learning from your actual professor. So it's you get hands-on, you get one-on-one time with that person. So if you have questions, that's the person you go to. And we work around our students' academic schedule. So we practice in the mornings a lot of times. That way, there's no classes at 7 a.m. So we will practice, and that way, students can have the rest of the day to focus on their academics. And nursing is probably our most popular major on our team. They have clinicals. So we understand that they have to be at certain clinical hours, and there's some labs that students have to be at. We work closely with the faculty to make sure that, if our students have to miss anything, we know they're running later, they have to leave a little bit early. We already know that ahead of time.
Okay. Well, you mentioned practice in the morning. Can you take me to the heart of the conference season and walk me through what a typical week's schedule is going to look like with classes, practices, games, all that kind of stuff?
Sure. So Division 3 usually games, at least for us, is Wednesdays and Saturdays. So we will practice Monday, Wednesday, Friday in the morning, and then on Tuesday, Thursday we go late. We go in the afternoon, and so for the first bits, they will work their strength conditioning coach in the weight room, and then they come out, we train, and then we do a little bit of film. We have some students who have to leave a little bit early or show up a little bit late because they're coming from classes or clinical and whatnot. We don't train if we have a game on Wednesday, and then Sundays are completely off, and that's the big of it. A lot of times we'll have to travel. So if we travel during the week, I will send a campus-wide email out to all of our faculty asking for our players to be excused. And then it's up to our kids. Like we don't use soccer as an excuse why grades would struggle. So we're very blessed with having very high academic students, but we still want to make sure they're getting all of the work done. They're showing up to class. So our program has a rule: there's 100% attendance and 100% of assignments turned in. You do the work and you show up, that can help you be successful. And then if you still struggle, that's where we talked earlier about some of the tutoring, some of the extra academic help that can be there. So that's a lot of the day in the life. So it's about 6 days a week.
I,
But
I love.
once you get into the heart of the season, I mean, you can't just go intense all the time. The body breaks down. So we have to do sessions accordingly. Like maybe a day we can go a bit more intense, and then we have to do regeneration. We have to, day after a game, they can't go intense again. We got to work with them. So it can be a lot, but if you have good time management and understand that, you can make it work.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Well, I love the 100% rule. I need we need more of that. That's for sure. Well, let's talk a little bit more about the team. I know you mentioned the roster size from a player perspective, but talk to me about the roster size from the coach and support staff perspective. What other people are there helping out the team? What role does everybody play, et cetera?
Sure. So I have a full-time assistant, and she's been really, really great. She also does a lot of the goalkeeping coach. So she's a former goalkeeper, which really helps because that's an area of expertise that she's helped with. With a team manager, and she's just been great about helping keep things organized. She was a former player, and she's getting ready to join the police force, so she wanted to make sure she had time. Yeah, she's a big timer, and so she helps out as much as she can. We have a full-time strength conditioning coach who works with all of our athletes, and we're able to work with him 2 or 3 times a week, which is great having someone specifically working with them on the strength side and getting them, ready conditioning wise. And we have athletic trainer at every single game and training session. So any sort of taping or injuries, we always have someone there ready to help them. Admittedly, I would love 2 or 3 more. Like I'm one of those. If we could have someone in charge of all the data, if we could have like that would be ideal. But with what we have, we do as best we can, and I have no complaints. We have a very great staff.
Awesome. Well, talk to us about your coaching style, the style of play that you look to play
I'm probably going to tell you what everyone does. We like to play. Everyone builds from the back.
there.
We try to. Um, as much as we can. There's times where we've had to be a bit more direct. If there's 30-mile-an-hour winds and sideways rain, it's kind of hard to ticky taka around. So what we do is we try to teach our players what the game is calling for. If this is the kind of game where we need to keep the ball on the ground and move it, we're going to try our best to keep the ball on the ground and move it. If it's a game we need to be more physical and more direct, we may have to do that. So it's kind of having that high soccer IQ. That's a lot of what we're looking for in our players who can understand different aspects of the game. We're not going to play a style that's just not working, and I'm just going to keep pushing it into them until it does, because you have to play with the strengths of a lot of the players that you have, and so that's a big thing, that soccer IQ side of understanding what the game calls for. Maybe it's a game we're not going to be in possession a lot. We need to be very disciplined defensively. We need to keep our shape and organization. So that's a lot of what we do. But as much as we can, we want to control the tempo of the game. That's ideally how we want to play.
Okay. Well, obviously we spent a lot of time talking about the fall and the season, but you get a spring, you get an off season. Kind
Mm-hmm.
of talk to me about what players should expect if they're at Millikin during the spring.
So during the winter time, so we have quite a long winter break. Our strength conditioning coach puts together a packet for them to do at home. So if they have access to weights or no weights, it's mainly about just keeping fit, because once they get back from winter break, we get straight into everything. So 3 days a week they'll work with our strength coach, and then once or twice a week, this is all player led, they will play futsal. So we have a futsal court on our campus, which is nice to have. So they will play there, and then once our spring season starts, we kind of flip it, and then we'll practice 3 times a week and probably work with our strength coach twice, and then we will do that. We get 24 days to work with the players, and we get a play day. So once we do our official play day, then our spring will end, and we will do a big summer training packet and have them get as ready as they can. The biggest thing is just playing as much as, yeah, it's great to be fit and to run and to lift. That is all absolutely important. Being able to just play, being soccer fit is so different than just being able to run for days. You want to be able to play as much soccer as you can without burning out. Obviously, you want to have balance, but being able to play as much soccer is important.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Coach, really appreciate all the insights you've given us. Going to leave you with one last question, and that is, if you had one piece of advice, for a girl going through this college recruiting process right now, what would that be?
It is your process. Don't worry about what anyone else does. Comparison's the thief of joy, as the expression goes. Like, enjoy your process. It is going to be flattering. It is going to be overwhelming. You're going to have people rolling the red carpet out, and then those same coaches are going to be asking, "What are you doing for the next 4 years?" Like, it should be great. You should enjoy going on visits and speaking with coaches and people, and that should be amazing. But yeah, it can be overwhelming. But don't worry about what your teammate does, your friend does. Your process is for you only. Whatever school you pick, that is the right choice, because that's where you want to
Absolutely. Run your own race. Well, Coach, really appreciate the time. Wish you the best of luck as you wrap up your recruiting class and get into next season. And hopefully Milliken will be hanging some championship banners here soon.
go. I would love that. Thank you for your time, Matt. I appreciate you.
Thank you.